Oh, and the Codcaster is beyond scuffed. Apologies. We're going to be jumping on. So for those of us joining us, ooh, some excellent nades coming out from the boys. The Arkansas Sky is actually going to be Keiser. Blue will be FIU. Red is going to be Keiser. We'll get these names swapped up here shortly. Absolute brawl happening on this P1, but Keiser coming out strong here. Spawns have been flipped for the members of Keiser, still maintaining a very strong lead coming into this map 1. Jump on was sadly here as he defends this hill. 3 kills coming out of the members of FIU. Starting to make their way back into this match as we start transitioning into this P2. Sadly going to be here to deny a little bit of time. Gonna go ahead and slay Miggy off the hill. Glee's gonna go down. Trade's coming out towards middle map. And this P2 is gonna go in the favor of FIU. Miggy gonna get his head completely ripped off by Osiris on that. Osiris looking for more. Zodi is making his way up to P2 steps. Line find 1 for his troubles. Nope, and relaxation is ready for him. Excuse me, Relkshins. I completely butchered that guy's name. Keiser still maintaining a lead, but FIU's slowly but surely clawing their way back into this, making this gap oh so smaller. And Keiser really struggling to maintain a foothold onto this P2. They get a break to happen, but can't seem to get more than a few seconds off this hill as we start seeing the members of FIU start making their way towards this P3. Sorry, he's going to get caught in the rock in a hard place, or in between a rock and a hard place, excuse me. And sadly, going to be here to defend the point all on his own. Going to rotate out as the members of KU are going to be on their way to help him out. And Zodi seeming to be aware that the flank is on the horizon. Osiris is there to clean it up. Sadly finding one of his own. Snapple answering back. Sadly finding Snapple. Now Icy pushing up sidewalk, seeing if he can create a little bit of a buffer zone, if you will. You see the members of FIU begin to make their way towards this P4. This is a money hill, so you're going to see often a lot of teams are going to be making their way towards this hill early. Just try to stack up some time, as it is a much harder hill to break. The team that gets off the rotation first is definitely in a clear advantage. And we are now underway with this P4. Cyrus finding a couple for his trouble. Sadly going to be making his way down. Map's going to find another one. And oh, what a clean break from the boys on Keiser. Very well done. Very well executed. Opened up by Osiris. Making 2 huge impact kills to give his teammates the red carpet to get into the site. The members of FIU are going to go quietly into that good night. There's going to be some kills coming out on the map. Zodi going to be finding 2. And Glee is there to hang on to it, finding one of his own. 85 to 58 and climbing. Keiser still in the lead, as we're going to be seeing this hell end off in Keiser control. Now we're on a fresh reset. 95 to 63 in favor of Keiser. P1 definitely going into control, or the hands of FIU. And FIU having a very clean setup on this P1. Making it very hard for the members of KU to even find the inclination of a foothold. But Zodi's going to find the gap and exploit it. 2 big kills for him. Miggy answering back onto Sad. But P1 is going to go in the way of Keiser, maintaining that lead. Zodi going to become under a barrage of grenades. is going to eventually get dropped by Glee. Osiris answering back, and we're going to see now a rotation onto that P2 hill. Zodi here that got scrap time that's remaining. Sadly, he's going to be there on P2, trying to establish his team a foothold, but FIU is there to clear him out. (107 to 109) and climbing. FIU now taking this lead. Members of Keiser are going to slow it down here. Going to try and find themselves some picks. But FIU's got a very, very strong hold on this P2. And it doesn't look like they're going to be loosening that grip in the slightest. Members of Keiser smash against this hill like waves on the beach. But FIU's there to hold strong as we see this early rotation go. P3 in the hands of Keiser early on. 131 to 114 and climbing. Icy's going to go ahead and spot 2. Gets 1, but Miggy's there to trade out. Glee finds one of his own. Zodi going in for the wrap. FIU doing their best to try to flip these spawns early. But not going to happen. Sadly, he's going to catch a glimpse of 2. FIU players playing towards spiral steps and locker. Is going to find one, but FIU finds a trade. The members of Keiser are there to clean up any stragglers. Bit of a self-stun here coming down to Zodi. Happens to everybody. And now we're going to be seeing 13 seconds left on this P3 as we see the members of FIU begin their early rotations. Icy's going to have a bit of a clash here. He's going to get dropped by, I think that was Relkshin. I'm like struggling to pronounce this man's names. Relkshins. P4 again in the hands of FIU early on. The members of Keiser start making their way down into 4 clean kills. Snapple able to find one onto Icy, but that's not going to be enough. P4 now in the hands of KU Navy. As we see the members of FIU begin rotating towards that boat position. Osiris finding one, thinning out their numbers. Zodi finding a second. Miggy making his way towards the hill. And sadly is doing his best to hold on to it as long as he can. Zodi there to clean up any remaining opposition, but it's just an absolute onslaught towards this P4, trading hands every few seconds. But it does look like it's going to end in Keiser control as we go for the third way around on this merry-go-round that we call hardpoint. Keiser looking a little bit stronger going into this P1 on this second rotation. I say that, and then all members of Keiser are just fleeting. Ooh, Icy is there to recover it a little bit. And this match is definitely a grudge match to say the least, man. I've seen these hills transfer hands so many times. It is definitely a scrappy one to say the least. Miggy gonna be making his way towards that P1, picking up that scrap time while Keiser is going to position themselves for this P2. Sadly going to be caught not quite looking at the right direction as Zodi's making his way to try to clear off some of these mid players from FIU. As Osiris and Sadly start making their way towards P2, try to clear off this defender. Are able to do so, but the members of FIU waiting in the wings, ready to make trades happen. 192 to 183 Keiser starting to make their way back. And this lead has been trading hands left, right, and center for both these teams. A roller coaster of emotions, to say the least. Relkshin's finding two big hills onto that P2. I do believe we're going to start seeing some rotations happen now towards this P3. 202 to 196 and counting. FIU getting oh so close to ending off this map 1. Sun's coming in. Sadly getting dropped by Glee. Finding 2 actually. Wow, actually crazy. Oh no. Relkshin's finding 2. Glee finding... Excuse me, Relkshin... I'm losing it, chat. I'm losing it. We're fumbling. Go next. 2:30 left on the clock. Keiser's able to maintain control here, or reclaim control. Now this is going to be a sticky situation. This game either ends here or P4, but we're coming up on the ending shortly. The end is at hand. Now it's kind of Keiser's decision of which do they want to do. They don't want to hang on to this hill now and keep the score even or rotate early. It does look like we're going to see a bit of the latter. A little bit scrappy towards that P4, but it's going to maintain in Keiser control. Kills coming out from spiral steps. 238, Keiser reclaiming the control once again. This is going to be FIU's last push. Kills coming out left, right, and center, and it does look like FIU was able to make it happen, keep themselves alive. 240 to 242. Keiser's got to make something happen now. There's no time remaining. Miggy finding kills. Relkshin's finding some. Sadly trying to creep his way into the site. Gonna see if he can make something happen. Finds one for himself. It gets traded out. And don't let that screen fool you. FIU come out on top, 250 to 242. On that protocol hard point. You see our play of the game coming out of Zodi here. Going to be getting into a game mode that the boys on KU Navy are definitely comfortable with. The question that begs the question though, how comfortable? Well, we'll find out here shortly. Members of FIU start making their way towards this A-bomb. Nate's going to be coming in from Osiris. And a little bit of chip damage, the boys on FIU. Lots of util coming in, pre-fires coming in as well. Osiris coming out on top on that first engagement, taking down Glee. Two members of Keiser going to be slowly tracking down Snapple. Waiting for health to come back. Oh, and both get dropped in very ugly fashion as Relkshin's waiting nearby to make it happen. Ooh. Oh my. FIU. Looking dastardly. And round 1 goes to FIU. Alrighty, now we swap sides. Keiser bomb. Let's see what we can make happen. Let's see some KU magic. Keiser going to be able to make their way into that A-bomb quite comfortably. Bomb is going to begin ticking down. As we see a good chunk of the members of Keiser actually playing outside the bomb site. Osiris and Sadly finding one each, but Glee's going to answer back on the Sadly. 2 versus 2. Glee's going to take down Icy in time. And now the clock is ticking. Osiris is now going to start feeling the pressure as we're going to see FIU begin to get on the bomb and just can't seem to make it happen. All right, once again, we swap sides here. FIU bomb. You see some early util come out of the boys on Keiser. FIU going to be making their way into that A bomb site now. Are going to get in there comfortably. Playing a little bit of a 3-1 setup, if you will. 3 in time, 1 on the outside, 2 on the outside, actually. Zodi's going to get caught lacking. It's being dispatched by Miggy. Let's see if Icy's able to answer back here onto Snapple. Util's going to come out, but none of it's going to connect. And a little bit of cat and mouse going on here towards P2. A 2 versus 2 situation. 14 seconds on the clock. Not a whole lot of time for the boys on Keiser to make this defuse happen. Icy's able to slide in. Has to go ahead and stick, but is not going to make it happen. Relkshin's just waiting nearby. Bomb is planted for him. Nothing to be done. And FIU come out with a 3rd round in a row. Definitely not off to a great start for the boys on Keiser. But still a lot of COD left to play. Keiser bomb once again. See what we can make happen. I'm going to see the members of FIU start spanning out a little bit. 2 towards A, 2 towards B. As Keiser now makes their way into that A bomb site once again. Trophies and bomb going down here. And Osiris going to see if he can find anybody. Icy's going to be able to find Snapple. 30 seconds left on this bomb now, but Miggy's going to answer back. Glee takes down Sadly. But Osiris answers back as well. Actually, Sadly gets a nade kill. Osiris finding 1. In the 1v1 now. Dancing around the middle pillar. Is able to make it out. Comes out on top. 2 big kills for Osiris. 3-1. Keiser on the board. And once again, we swap sides. FIU bomb. Let's jump on with the boys on FIU. Why not? Their bomb, their show. Let's see what's going on here. And FIU has a very interesting way of taking this A site. They like to go through cat. Ooh, but a bit of a team nade happened on Keiser. I didn't even peep that. That's the last thing they needed that, like a freaking hole in the head. Bomb gonna go down for FIU. And we're going to see if I begin to take some post-plant positions. Actually, no. We're going to be seeing a bit of a wrap coming out of FIU. Sadly finds 1 on the Snapple. Miggy's hunting. Miggy knows that they're not going to be turning around looking. And he, of course, he's going to go ahead and find 1. And Glee just, oh yeah, they're just going to get mopped up. Yeah. Alrighty, KU bomb. Sadly going to be getting aggressive this time around. See if he can find 1 for his team early on, but Snapple's ready for it, and Relkshins finds 1 onto Zodi. And now FIU have bomb control. Icy and Osiris left on their respective islands. And there's a lot of individualism coming out from the boys on Keiser, and what I would say is a bad way. A lot of solo fights, unfavorable to them. Cyrus is gonna completely ignore Snapple there. I'm assuming he just didn't see him. Icy's able to trade it, but to what avail? 3 members of FIU left. A Herculean task. And FIU taking their 5th round. And that'll put us on map point. 5-1. Florida International is not messing around this evening, folks. Take a look at this scoreboard very briefly. Oh, even that scoreboard's bugged. We love it, man. This is a great game. FIU going to be changing up their approach. Going to be heading down towards P1, making their way towards B site. An interesting decision coming out of Osiris to slam through the vault doors. I'm assuming maybe he got forced in with that Hellstorm. And FIU, it seems like FIU has been able to just trot to any part of the map they've wanted, and Keiser really hasn't had an answer for it. Sadly, he's going to take down Glee, but Relkshin's answer is back with one onto Icy. 2v3. And Zodi preventing the bomb plan, taking down Miggy, 2v2. Sadly, going to be dropped by Relkshins, and now it's all up to Zodi in the 1v2. 32 seconds left on the clock. Snapple's going to be posted. Zodi didn't see him. Zodi, my boy, the glasses, we need to put them on. And that'll be it for that map 2 S&D vault. FIU winning in very convincing fashion, 6-1. And it is looking bleak. They need to make something happen. They need to string together 3 maps in a row to make a reverse sweep happen. Definitely within the realms of possibilities for these guys. But are they up to the task? Miggy's going to go ahead and find one to start us off. Icy and Sadly finding 2 of their own. And we're going to see early on, Sadly's going to be grabbing that control of their house. I actually don't even know what this building is called. Regardless, Sadly's got it, or he had it. You're going to see FIU grab a stronghold of that control A. Zodi is going to be there to clear him off. Bear with me, folks. Go ahead and put that on Do Not Disturb. Apologies for that. 19-24, though. Keiser looking good in terms of the live count. 1 tick taken off on Control A for FIU. But they're hurting on the lives department. But that gap is slowly, or rather quickly actually, being brought down to a thinner and thinner margin. Zodi finds one onto Glee. As we see FIU try to make some headway towards that B hill. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to get anything off, but we are going to see 2 players of FIU go ahead and stack a control hill. So Osiris finds one. Glee answers back with another. Osiris and it's Icy finding some of their own. And Keiser may be able to make it happen, actually prevent the cap of that second tick. But FIU are going to waste no time at all, beginning to make their way towards that B hill. As we see the stat come out, Keiser not actually clearing off the A tick. And very fortunate that FIU wasn't able to jump on and give themselves an advantage going into a match point or a map point scenario. Only one tick taken by FIU though. I believe it was one. But strong start for Keiser. Very strong start to this map 3. And now the tables have turned. Keiser on the attack. Let's see what we can make happen. Nades coming out from the boys on Keiser. Some of them do find their mark, doing a little bit of damage. Snapple, however, is going to find one on the Icy to start us off, and Miggy going to answer back with some of his own. Sadly gets one. As we start now taking time towards this B hill. 2 members of FIU going to be coming in from the top rope. Sadly, barely escapes with his life, but is eventually hunted down. Osiris finds one. As Snapple is now positioning himself towards the FIU's, or excuse me, the Keiser spawn. And now FIU is beginning to tighten their stranglehold as they start making their way to get a spawn trap going. But but Keiser, not relenting, refusing to go quietly, is able to break that hold and go ahead and steal themselves a tick. Sadly, now going to be getting aggressive under the feet of Glee. Is able to find him, and Icy's able to find kills of his own as we near closer to getting a second tick onto that A hill. Isn't going to happen. FIU using guerrilla tactics of sorts, attacking from one position, repositioning to another. And it is allowing Keiser to go ahead and grab some time off these hills, but at what cost? They're bleeding lives. 15-17, FIU in the life lead, but Keiser is able to grab themselves an entire hill for their trouble. 16-14 now. FIU still leading. Snapple answering back for one of his own. Glee finding a kill. Miggy answering as well. Just gaps galore in the Keiser defense, and that's just one of my main gripes with this godforsaken map. There's too many gaps to be exploited. Fire's finding one into Glee. Miggy's going to answer back with a trade. And it does look like we're going to be seeing a little bit of a slugfest now. We're going to be seeing both teams just looking to trade lives. Snapple finding one, Relkshin's finding another. And now we see Snapple doing the most annoying thing on the face of the earth, running around in the spawn, breaking ankles, finding heads. Zodi finally puts him down. But now, 13-7. As annoying as it may be, it sure is effective. Miggy finds one onto Sadly. And Glee getting dropped by Zodi from mid-gun. Less than 40 seconds on the clock now for Keiser. Zodi finds one onto Snapple. Miggy is just seeing the guy at Sadly's number. Relkshin's finding Icy. 26 seconds. Zodi jumping into time, but Snapple from the top rope is ready. Icy getting put down. And FIU taking a round back from Keiser. Alrighty, and we are now moving back into a Keiser defense. Utility coming out. Sadly, he's going to go ahead and try to get aggressive here towards this P1 box. He's going to go ahead and get dropped by Miggy. Zodi's able to find one. Icy answers back with one of his own. Not answering back, but also finding one. And Zodi looking to get the flank here on Snapple, who's happily going to take the chow and Winds up not coming out on top of that. Zodi now setting up in the house of FIU. Trying to get a little bit of a spawn trap of his own going. And he's going to find some relative success with it. 2 members of Keiser now in this home, in the house of FIU. But FIU content to leave those members of Keiser in their positions, as they're going to go ahead and grab themselves a tick off the A hill. Actually don't. Very close, but actually weren't able to make it happen. The Keiser having to leave their position to go ahead and break that hill. Now allows for FIU to actually get a strong foothold into A this time around, sadly. Making his way through FIU's house and finding 2 first troubles. Zodi finding one on, I think, Miggy elsewhere. And lots of bodies dropping left, right, and center as FIU make an all-out push towards this A hill once again. As Keiser begins to make their way to contest. Sadly, he's going to go ahead and be taken down. And FIU are able to find one. Zodi finding 2 kills. And we're not done yet. 11-10. Keiser up by 1 life. FIU still with 1 hill to take. 60 seconds left on the clock. Zodi dancing with the players of FIU as they swarm his position. Is able to make it out alive though. Icy finding a kill elsewhere. And Zodi beginning to insert himself as Icy also finds another kill. But Relkins is able to take down Icy. As Zodi slots himself, gets a little ambitious with his positioning, is able to be dispatched. FIU out of lives now. 3-8. Sadly, on Osiris taking down members of FIU of their own, and now it's up to Glee, who is playing towards that P1 position, takes down Osiris and peppers the position of Sadly. Sadly's just going to wait for his health to come back. And this is a bit of a death by 1,000 cuts, but never mind. Icy's able to find his head. He's going to say that if he doesn't get the kills here, he just gets bled out on time. Alrighty, and Keiser on map point. Let's see what we can make happen. Nades coming out. Let's see if they find their mark once again. Not finding their mic this time. Icy finding a kill. Relkins answering back. Miggy finding one on the Sadly. And Zodi going to be slotting himself in an aggressive position once again. I think he did catch Relkin moving towards the helipad. Definitely did. 2 members of Keiser are going to go for the double chow. Relkin still finds one, even in a 2v1. And Zodi, in an aggressive position, is going to opt to leave the position, not finding much value. As the members of Keiser start making their way towards that A hill. Going to be grabbing themselves their first tick. And now moving towards a second tick very quickly. Zodi shifting gears, knowing the members of FIU are going to come knocking on the door of A hill. Preps for their onslaught. As Keiser takes... Oh, I thought they did. Zodi? Thank you, Zodi. I could have sworn Keiser had taken that hill. I'm not exactly sure what happened. I figured there was a couple members of Keiser left on it, but apparently not. FIU being relentless and this aggression towards the spawn house of Keiser. Osiris finding 2 big kills from that A hill. Lives are looking pretty even on this one. And I believe as it stands, Keiser is in the lead in terms of ticks taken. And now we're going to be seeing some kills come out. But again, FIU is just relentless. Continues just to attack this Keiser spawn. And Zodi, I don't think he's going to actually catch Miggy. But we'll find Relkshin. But will be traded out by another member of FIU in their spawn. And you can't help but get frustrated watching this, because as a Keiser fan, like, yeah, for sure, you want to see them do well. But the way this map is just structured, it promotes this kind of like ratty play of not so much playing objectives, but just trying to control of the other team's spawn. And it's just not very interesting to play or fun to watch. And the number of lives dwindling for Keiser. No respawns remaining, as sadly breathes his last breath. And now it's all up to Icy. Brush off a spawn. 6 seconds, and it doesn't look like it's likely. Two to two. And this has been a defensive-sided game. Now we see who's on the defense. Oh, and that's rough. Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. That's good. Rough if you're an FIU fan. As FIU is going to go ahead and be on that attack side. Oh, but that's not a great start. Relkshin's finding a nade on the Sadly early on. In a very pivotal position at that. Playing mid-gun is going to give them free entry onto this A hill. And something tells me Keiser's not going to be able to react quick enough. They actually are able to make the clear happen as Snapple continues to harass the spawn. Or defend his spawn, excuse me. Zodi continuing to harass the spawn of FIU. Dispatching Miggy. And Glee. But Snapple's answering back. Icy takes him down. That sadly going down to Relkshin's. Glee and Relkshin's finding kills. Osiris answering. And now we see once again FIU making headway on this A hill. And in a familiar story, Zodi in the back line trying to clear them out. Keiser up on lives. Making it work. Zodi finally being flushed out. "30 seconds on the clock for FIU. 1 tick on that hill remaining as 2 members are positioned. Zodi isn't able to make anything connect. That being said, this time around, 27 seconds. 1 tick remaining. And Osiris, you got to get the lead out, my boy. We need to get this guy off hill. And FIU, showing signs of life, are able to take that hill. 13-9, though. Keiser still up on lives. And it all falls on the shoulders of this B hill, the Keiser defense. Looking to make it happen. Zodi finding 1. But is able to get traded by Snapple. Sadly, is there to get a kill, though, himself. And Osiris now in the spawn, harassing the members of FIU, but is not going to find nearly as much success as Miggy takes him down. Sadly, barely escaping with his life. FIU now starting to rout the members of Keiser from their spawn. Miggy and Relchin's finding some kills. Oh, and Icy gets taken down by Miggy. Can't let that happen, boys. 6-8 now. FIU beginning to take some time off this hill. Relchin and Miggy getting kills themselves. Glee finding one, and is it going to happen? Is FIU actually going to win an attack round? It's looking like it. Keiser just completely falling apart at the seams. Can't seem to find a kill. Can't buy a kill. Two members of FIU on the hill. And it's all up to Osiris, and he's not able to make it happen. And that's all. That's going to be all she wrote. 3-2. FIU coming on top. And that's going to be all she wrote. FIU are going to take this series in 3-0 fashion. We're going to transition here into an intermission. Well, it was definitely a quick one. A couple maps were close. One map wasn't. Was expecting a little bit more of a longer-winded affair. And it's just not what we we're left with today. Very sad stuff. Keiser Navy is not going to go 3-2 going into their next match, I believe, against Kennesaw. And that's pretty much it. Alrighty, folks. We've got another match coming up for you tonight. KU Navy's going to be taking on Kennesaw. I think Kennesaw State University, I believe. KSU? Yeah, that sounds about right. KU Navy's going to be taking on KSU in this next map starting here at 9 o'clock. So we've got about 30 minutes until our next map. We're going to be jumping on with Xander Films for the host of that match. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been your host, Slim. Make sure to follow me on Twitter over at SLIM_FPS. And then while you're at it, go ahead and follow Cup on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, where we'll be posting updates of the matches and clips from our games. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to crash out now. Have a great evening. We love you all. Peace.